No. No, 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 just fuck it. Fuck my life. Fuck!
Come on! You know I gotcha! Yeah! One! Break the wall! Break down the walls! For those about to rock and watch the world, baby, you know you're Judas and I'm your priest. Baby, what I got is not from the least. Bring it to the stage in the rage of the beast. Step in the arena and break the wall down. Step in the arena and break the wall down. Now you know, coming on down, Jericho. You know I got you. Now you know. Yeah, Jericho. Yeah. I'm awakened from a deep sleep.
Sorry for that outburst. It just WWE, you had one job tonight, and that was to get me excited for WrestleMania, especially on the Raw side. You had great shows going in to Fastlane up until last week, and I thought, okay, maybe just a little small speed bump in the road, not a big deal, it's fine. And then I see what happened tonight, and I hate so much I don't understand it. You know what? We'll get right into it, and not even Chris Jericho's music can save me right now. Hello, everybody. I am Nate the Effing Great, joining you here for the Fastlane review show. I was supposed to be joined here by Joshua Yeager, but honestly, I think that he called it a night because this was just way too depressing for him, so understandably so. I cannot believe that I am actually doing this myself, but I am. Let's get on with it. Starting off with the pre-show. Noam Dar and Brian Kendrick taking on the team of Akira Tozawa and Rich Swann. This matchup I could care less about. The match was good, but still it had no purpose. It had nothing going on. And I just don't understand it. Akira Tozawa and Rich Swann pick up the victory after Rich Swann hit a beautiful, I think it was a Phoenix Splash, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. We go into the first matchup of the main card, that being Samoa Joe versus Sami Zayn. This was a thing. No, in all honesty, this was kind of a weird matchup because I honestly was expecting it to be more physical, more lengthy, more, I guess you could say, better than what I was understanding. It just, I don't understand it really. But at the same time, it was still a pretty good matchup to open the show up with. We see a nice, Blue Thunder Bomb by Sami Zayn that he hits on Samoa Joe. Really cool. Couple good spots with Samoa Joe showing his strength, his power, even doing like no sells to like an arm drag or stuff like that. Just really kind of made it so cool to see the classic Samoa Joe come back and just really, really, be Samoa Joe. Be the actual Samoa Joe that everybody remembers. So the match ended with Sami Zayn going for the Helluva Kick in the corner. However, he gets caught by Samoa Joe with his pickup side slam and then locks in the Coquina Clutch. Sami Zayn unfortunately passes out, allowing Samoa Joe to pick up the victory via submission, I believe. Yes. So, all honesty, it was a pretty good matchup, to say the least. The ending kind of left me surprised, but in all honesty, it was still a good matchup, a great way for Samoa Joe to, again, show his dominance on the main card. Just really cool. So, totally okay with that. We go into the next matchup, which was, I believe if I remember correctly, that was the tag team title match. That's right. was the Club defending against Enzo and Cass. Fairly decent matchup. Fairly okay. Excuse me. I had a little parched tonight. So the matchup itself was decent. Again, Enzo and Cass put a pretty good effort. But there was a lot of spots where we saw the Club, just beating down on Enzo's head. And I was thinking to myself, ooh, are they going to play again to that whole, I guess you could call it the concussion deal that he had going on last year? Are they going to just, make it look like that? It just was one of those moments where it did look like Enzo was just going to lose his head in a matter of seconds. It was just crazy. But in all honesty, was very, very cool. It was still great, though. The ending happened with Carl Anderson hitting another knee to the head of Enzo. He goes to the cover, 1, 2, 3. Enzo's foot was on the bottom rope, but Luke Gallows pushed the foot away, saying that no, he didn't have his foot on anywhere. The Club picks up the victory via shenanigans. Honestly, a great way for the Club to win the tag team retain the tag team titles, I should say. They played off as heels, and they still looked really good doing it. I mean, of course, they're going to say, well, they still can't beat down Big Cass. Oh, trust me, that's coming. I know that's coming. So they're going to really find a way to make Big Cass look like absolute nothing. But we'll get into that a little more, I guess, later on in the show. Well, we'll see. So the next matchup was Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax. Basically, it was mainly like 70% Nia Jax and 30% Sasha Banks. There were a couple of spots where Sasha Banks actually picked up some of the momentum. I actually made the comment. I said it'd be really crazy to see her hit that backstabber, double knees to the back to Nia Jax and then lock in the bank statement. But eventually, Sasha Banks would lock in the bank statement, but Nia Jax would just continue to overpower Sasha Banks in almost every single way. Really made Sasha look very, I wouldn't say it looked weak, just one of those things where, again, she looked like a featherweight. But in all honesty, the ending was probably the one thing that kind of kept me a little bit surprised, but at the same time, I guess you could say, I don't know if I would say I'm more mad about that now, because the way it ended was Sasha Banks rolling up Nia Jax and using a Bob Backlund bridge. For those of you that don't know, is basically they roll them up from behind and they use not only their legs but also their bodies to kind of give them a little more leverage. And she picks up the victory in that way, giving Nia Jax her first, I believe, no, it wasn't her first pinfall loss on paper. That's wrong. But first, I think singles loss on paper. That might be a better way of putting it. So it was one of those things where it's like, okay, I mean, it's not the best thing that they could have done, but at the same time, it's not one of those things where it's like, could have left it or leave it or whatever. It was interesting, to say the least. Oh, great. Now we jumped out of the fire and into the snake pit. This is where Raw really started to lose a lot of its momentum. How did they do that, you might ask? Well, I'll tell you. They decided to have not one but two filler matches in between. They had Jinder Mahal and Rusev still continuing arguing with each other and blah, blah, blah. Just so stupid. And then we see, who else did we get? Jinder Mahal taking on Cesaro, which I think, honestly, I'm sorry, but this was an insult to Cesaro as a wrestler and as a competitor. He deserves so much better to be on this card than this matchup. It just didn't make any sense. The ending happened with Jinder Mahal getting a distraction by Rusev because he threw Rusev over the barricade earlier on. So he sees Rusev over there just chilling out, and then he turns around and gets hit with the lift-up European uppercut by Cesaro for the 1, 2, 3. Cesaro picks up the win, and Jinder Mahal basically gets beat down by Rusev, thrown into a turnbuckle. And who should come out to be Rusev's opponent? The Big Show. Coming off of his great matchup on Raw against Braun Strowman, The Big Show had this was one of the most horrible, just life-sucking wastes of time that I had ever... Oh my gosh. It made no sense. This just was a horrible, horrible matchup where Big Show basically picked up a lot of his momentum, but then Rusev had a couple bits of winnings spots where he does like the super kick 3 times to Big Show, which was, honestly, it was kind of a good spot, but at the same time, it just didn't make too much sense. It was just like, okay, I guess it is what it is. Big Show would eventually go on to hit a choke slam not once but twice to Rusev, and then it seemed, okay, so he basically drags Rusev to a spot in the corner. And I'm thinking, okay, well, he's probably going to do a bonsai drop or something like that, or he's going to do like the Vader bomb or something. No, he takes him up to the bottom corner. He rolls up his fist, boop, punches Rusev while he's still down. 1, 2, 3, that's it. Are you kidding me? That's how you end a match? You came off of an awesome matchup against Braun Strowman where you basically looked like a beast, and you were going to finish off Rusev kind of like that? What? That makes no sense. These 2 matches were just dumpster. They had no business for being on this card. I mean, I would have much rather seen a Jinder Mahal versus Rusev match instead of these 2 dumpster fires of matches. They could have just burnt up and disappeared for all I care. Oh my God, it made no sense. Why? Just why? But we get into a bit of a positive for the night. The Cruiserweight Championship matchup, which featured Neville taking on Jack Gallagher for the Cruiserweight Championship. Match of the night. All honesty, this was the first time I think we've seen the Cruiserweights shine bigger than any other matchup on the card. This was very well done. The match startup was kind of slow. While I was talking with Joshua and a friend of his, Ben, he was saying that this matchup was really good, but you probably could have gotten rid of like the first 2-3 minutes where it was just, hitting moves, poses. Jack Gallagher did a thing where he was, upside down on the top turnbuckle. He's doing this thing with his legs where he's basically telling him to stop. It was kind of weird, but when it started getting more and more into the matchup, it really started picking up quite a bit. We saw a Phoenix Splash to Jack Gallagher by Neville, which was beautifully done. Jack Gallagher hitting those headbutts. Oh man, did those look very brutal. They looked very good. Really looked great. And we then saw a beautiful German suplex done by Neville. Oh my gosh, I thought that Gallagher either landed on his shoulder and probably popped it or something like that, or he probably just cracked his neck. It looked so horrible. I honestly thought, oh God, Jack Gallagher's dead. But the really big time scary moment of that matchup was Jack Gallagher was going for a superplex in the corner to Neville, but Neville countered with his reverse suplex in the top rope, but it looked again like Jack Gallagher landed on his neck or something like that, and honestly we were just like, oh, that actually looked like that looked bad. Then we see Neville hitting the red arrow to not only perfection, but almost overselling the fact that he hit it, where he just lands on it and then does this like front cartwheel deal. It just looked so cheesy, but at the same time, it looked just brutal how he did it, because it made it seem like he not only took all of his own weight, but also just drove it down with every single ounce that he had in him. It was a very, very well done move by Neville. Just phenomenal, awesome, great, loved it. Ended it for the 1, 2, 3. Neville picks up the win. And of course, one of the funny things that we came up with is the idea that Neville's full name is not Adrian Neville, it's Neville Longbottom, and that he is a product from a affair that Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns had with each other. And then I made the joke that, well, Seth